Hello children. So let's start Hindi class with a revision of alphabets. What are alphabets called in Hindi? We have two kinds of alphabets. One is Swar and one is Vyanjan, which you have already learned very well now. Okay. So now let's do a revision of Swar for the time being. Okay. So let me say namaste to you. नमस्ते बच्चों. तो शुरू करते हैं स्वर. ठीक है? Let me write swar. S-W-A-R swar. Then swar starts with a and it ends with aha. Okay? Now, come on, let us start writing. Okay? So, how to start writing a? First, you write a 3 list. Then a sleeping line from the middle of the tree, and then a standing line, and then a small sleeping line on top. There is something that you should always remember. There is no line that covers the head of the arm. And one more thing you should always remember. Touch the line when you write the letters, and Hindi is always written from down the line. लाइन के नीचे से लिखना है, कभी भी ऊपर मत लिखो. नीचे means down, ऊपर means up. English we always write on top of the line, like how I have written the spelling of swar here. But Hindi we always write from down the line. And you always start writing the letters by touching the line. Now let me go to the next swar, okay? Just leave one finger's gap and write the next swar, which is A. Write up and put one more standing line and then a sleeping line on top. So this is A say anar and A say aam. Now let's go to the next swar. I hope you remember what is the next swar. Leave one finger's gap and write. Start from the line. Remember to start from the line. A small standing line and then write S, the English letter S, and put a small loop here. And then remember to put the closing line on top. You must notice that teacher is writing everything from down the line and I am also touching the line and writing. So now we finished A say anar, A say aam, I say imli, and now we are going to E say eek. For this I will first write I say imli. पहले मैं इमली लिखूंगी और उसके ऊपर एक छोटा सा क्वेश्चन मार्क लिखूंगी ऐसा. ठीक है? So this becomes E. E से ईक. इसके बाद one finger's gap. Leave one finger's gap and write U. U is very easy to write because it is just 3. It is just the number 3 with a sleeping line on top. So A say anar, A say aam, I say imli, E say eek, U say ullu, then U say oon. I will write 3 and then I will put a loop like this from the middle of 3. So now we finished 6 swar. Let us go to the next swar. What is the next swar? A, I, U, ri. So ri I am going to write in the next line. Next line means always when you write Hindi, make sure that you leave one line and then write. Because if you write in the very next line, it is going to hit each other and you will not have place to write this letter properly. Okay? So ri is a very special letter. So I am going to write it right in the middle of the next line. So a standing line and a V which is looking that side. From the center of the V and put a loop and another loop down. So this is ri say rishi. So we finished A, I, U, like the sofa that is there in your house, okay? This is like you can sit here. It looks like that. And then just inside the sofa, you put another small standing line like this and a closing line on top. उसके ऊपर एक sleeping line भी डाल दो. तो ये है A से AD. Now leave one finger's gap and write A से ऐनक. How do I write A से ऐनक? Again I will write A and then I have to put one tail going up. Now what do? I have to start from this standing line and put a tail on top. So this becomes A से ऐनक. A, I, U, ri, e. The next word is O से Oakley. Again I am going to write a 3, a sleeping line, standing line, one more standing line, and then from the second standing line I am going to put a tail on top. Now another sleeping line to complete this letter. I will just put a short sleeping line. Remember, no sleeping line should be drawn on top of the head of A. Okay? So this is O से Oakley. After O से Oakley comes O से औरत. I am going to write 3 again. Sleeping line from the middle. Standing line. One more standing line, and then this time from the second standing line. Remember to start from the second standing line, not from the first one. From the second standing line, I am going to put not one, I am going to put 2 tails. So this makes it O से औरत. What is the difference between Oakley and औरत? O and O, here there is only one tail starting from the second standing line, whereas here there are 2 tails starting from the second standing line. So now we finish A, I, U, ri, e, o, only 2 more swar left. And what are they? And aha. I will write A first and then put a nice dot on top. This is the So this dot makes this letter Now let us go to the last swar, which is aha. And aha are very easy to write. You wrote by writing A and with a matra with a dot on top, which is called the matra. And aha we are going to write with A and 2 dots on the side. How do you put the 2 dots? Not one away from another. One dot and the other dot should be just below. Just like how we have the first floor house and the second floor house. The dots should not go away. Dots should be just first floor down and just right above it comes the second dot. Okay, so this is aha. Now we have completed revising A till aha. All these letters are called the swar. Come on, let's repeat. A से अनार, A से आम, I से इमली, I से ईख, U से उल्लू, U से ऊल, ऋ से ऋषि, E से एड़ी, A से ऐनक, O से ओखली, O से औरत, अंग से अंगूर और आहा. A, I, U, ri, e, o, aha. So children, I hope you have done the revision properly of to aha today. Always remember, learning the alphabets are very important. It is very important to learn the alphabets before you start learning how to make words and sentences. So this is today's revision for you. Please make sure that you learn this thoroughly today. Thank you.